I love Nintendo stuff as much as the next guy. Nintendo Directs are excellent ways to keep the fan base up to date with all the news going on in the world. The most recent Direct from March 26 was stealth dropped with barely an hour's notice of it being tweeted out. Many people, myself included, simply did not have enough notice to watch it live. Not that that's the end of the world because it was up on YouTube. Personally, I believe Nintendo scrambled to assemble this Direct relatively quick because 1, the announcements that were there were nothing groundbreaking, and 2, people can absolutely use a distraction from a lot of troubling things going on in the world right now. You know what I'm talking about. Make sure you hit that subscribe button while we break down the Nintendo Direct and review everything that they talked about today. Zen Oblate Chronicles Definitive Edition. Honestly, this feels like it's been a bit overdue for a while. The game itself was excellently done and had a pretty garbage distribution method, being GameStop exclusive when it released on the Wii. The best part about the release is that it's coming with additional content called Future Connected. I'm hoping that players will be able to get to this content relatively early in the game. Zen Oblate Chronicles is not short. I'm honestly not looking forward to dropping 60 to 100 hours to get to new exclusive content. The other thing that sucks is that I'm sure this will retail for $60, which is never fun for a 10+ year old game. The 2K collections. These are nice, but honestly, who cares about them? 2K is bringing back Bioshock, Borderlands, and XCOM's games to Switch. I guess if you have literally never played any of these games before, then this is good for you, but almost all of these games are over 10 years old. Not to mention that they have all been severely discounted on other systems or even given away for free on some platforms. This is just another example of the Switch becoming a glorified port machine for last generation games. Plus, none of these games really have long-time nostalgia associated with them. For me, Bioshock Infinite is probably the best game there, but I'm not sure it warrants a $60 spend. Plus, if you haven't noticed, all the collections will require a game download of some capacity. Knowing 2K games, each cart will most likely only come with one game or an aspect of a game, and then you'll need to download everything else. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 Fantastic Four DLC. I'm glad that Fox-oriented Marvel characters are now being merged back into the core Marvel universe. Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm, Sue and Reed Richards, and Doctor Doom are all going to be making appearances in this DLC. For those unfamiliar with Marvel, these characters are the equivalent of the Marvel superhero grandparents, some of the first heroes to really hit the main comic stage. Plus, it looks like we might even be getting a glimpse of some of the Celestial and Eternals characters. I wouldn't be surprised if Icarus and Circe show up, given how the Eternals movie will be dropping later this year. Shinsekai Into the Depths. One of the most interesting games you will see in this Direct, another survival crafting style game that almost has a steampunk aesthetic associated with it. I love me some steampunk. Probably one of the best things about this is that it's going to be out today. Animal Crossing New Horizon. I'm glad that Nintendo is supporting some of their games rather rapidly, unlike with Mario Party. This new free add-on is meant to celebrate the Easter holiday, new characters and hidden eggs all around your island. This will keep new Switch owners attached to Animal Crossing for a while, especially while Tom Nook is trying to get his money out of you. Good job. This game is nepotism at its finest. While you play as the son of a boss in a company, you are essentially given the task of what appears to be odd jobs around the office in another physics-based sandbox game. Yes, you could move a projector from one room to another, or you could fire it through a wall. All of these physics-based comedy games like Surgeon Simulator or Get Packed are really starting to run a little thin. Catherine Full Body. This is quite possibly the worst kept secret for the Switch. This is another port from last generation. Catherine is a puzzle social simulation game. It's a weird combo, but it's actually very entertaining. The puzzle aspect really makes you think as you try to plot out a course to get from point A to point B. I always felt like they built the puzzle aspect game first and then dropped the dating story in as a background. Amazingly, it worked out really well. I recently got done playing this version on the PS4. There doesn't seem to be any new content added, which is kind of a downer. If you have played this before, I would suggest passing, but if you've never played Catherine, it's definitely worth a pickup. Ring Fit Adventure. Adding a new music mode was a good decision for this game. People always love rhythm-based games, and now it mixes them with exercise. It was easiest for Nintendo to add their own licensed music, but I would have liked to have seen some other songs in there too. Additional modes and additional language support are also being added, but I think the biggest challenge right now is trying to find a copy of the core game with the necessary accessories. From what I've seen online, they are incredibly short supply right now behind toilet paper. King's Bounty 2. Apparently, the original King's Bounty was released in the 1990s. I personally have never heard of this game, let alone played it. I guess if you're familiar with the game series, maybe give it a try. My biggest problem with this is that I know how nostalgia goggles work for people. They have good memories of a game from many years ago, and then only end up being disappointed when a sequel comes out. I'm looking at you, System Shock 3. A new Super Smash Bros. Fighter. The newest fighter for the Super Smash Bros. Series is going to be a character from ARMS. This was obviously a no-brainer for people who play a lot of Nintendo games. It was just a question of when it would happen. While they didn't reveal specifically which fighter would be part of the game, I would put my money on it being Springman, the front and center face of the ARMS franchise. But I would love to see Min Min or Twintel, simply because that there will inevitably be an amiibo character created. Additionally, Nintendo will be given a free limited time trial of the ARMS game. If you haven't played ARMS before, it's definitely worth a play since it will be free for a short time. It's a great IP with a lot of fun and easy tactics. Bravely Default 2. This is about damn time. We knew this was coming out, but we just didn't know when. The first Bravely Default was on 3DS and was considered a sleeper hit because a lot of Square executives thought that old school RPGs were dead. They came up with this not based on scientific data, but because marketing research said RPGs were dead. Then, with the massive success of Octopath Traveler, Square finally decided to get back to their roots. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if an inevitable Final Fantasy XVI, whenever that does release, will at least have an option for an old school turn-based mode. I am already in the process of downloading a demo for this. I'm so super excited to get into this game. Tabletop Classics. I don't know about anyone else, but I could see this being one of the best-selling games of this year. 51 classic tabletop games from around the world, some common like Solitaire or Mahjong, and some weird like robot boxing, which is literally just rock'em sock'em robots, probably to get around copyright issues. Now, Nintendo did say that the games would have local multiplayer, but the interesting part is that many of them would have online compatibility. If Nintendo gets a majority of this online and retails the package for $20, this has casual appeal all over it. I wouldn't be surprised if this has super high sales numbers. Ninjala. Okay, am I the only person who thinks this looks amazingly like Splatoon? The character design, the color palette, the effects, the environments, they all look like something right out of the Splatoon franchise. The only difference being a ninja theme compared to a squid theme. The game itself doesn't look anything amazing, just another free squad-based shooter. Most likely won't even touch this one. Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Ooh, does this look dated? This game originally released in 2003 and it didn't look amazing then, and it certainly doesn't look amazing now. I don't have a lot of memories about this game, but it could really use a fresh coat of paint. It literally looks like they didn't update a single thing about this. I'm sure this will have no problem running at 1080 60 FPS. They did say that Star Wars Racers was coming over too, but I'm anticipating a similar graphical quality about that port as well. Panzer Dragoon Remake. Bring over Panzer Dragoon Saga, you cowards. This game is fine, but I've wanted to play Saga for years. It would make so much more sense to bring a classic RPG to a modern system. Trials of Mana. It looks like another RPG from the Mana series. Great. Fuser. Looks like a digital version of the tabletop game Drop Mix. The Elder Scrolls Blades. Go home, Bethesda. You are bad and you should feel bad. Warhammer 40k Mechanicus. Sure, I guess. I haven't played a Warhammer game in years, so a tactical dungeon crawler could be fine. Vigor. I've never heard of this game, but it appears to be another open world survival game, exactly what a saturated market needs. Burnout Paradise. So glad that this is making its way to the Switch. Now EA needs to make a new Burnout game designed with Criterion without all of EA's garbage microtransactions in it. Saints Row 4. Previous Saints Row games did not run well on the Switch at all, not anticipating this one to be any better. Trails of Cold Steel 3. I've never played one of the Trails games and most likely won't have time to in the near future. If it's your jam, go ahead and dig in. It looks fine. Mr. Driller Drill Land. Depending on the price, there could be a lot of value here. The Mr. Driller games were excellent pressure puzzle games. I'm really hoping that this one delivers. Minecraft Dungeons. Yup, it's Minecraft Dungeons. Finally, Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion. I'm sure there are people that are eager for this expansion, but I am not one of them. I played Sword for a few weeks and kinda got bored with it. I know it sold like crazy at the time, but a lot of people I played with have moved on to bigger, better things. I will admit though, the Dynamax version of Rillaboom with the over-the-top drum kit does look pretty cool, but it's not enough of the reason for me to come back to the Galar region. Don't worry though, I'm sure the Pokemon franchise will do just fine without me. Overall, the Direct was just fine. Like I said, this feels very rushed together with stuff that they had available given the current crisis that the world is in. I'll be sure to pick up some of what they listed, but the majority of it will be something I play when I run out of a backlog. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you are planning on picking up one of these games, let me know in the comments because I will be down there talking about it. Make sure you follow the 3 pillars of YouTube, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and make sure you hit the like button. My name is Ben Giorno, that's Joarna. I will see you all next time.